Do you want to know an interesting story? Here's one for you. It is about a man who fell in love with a woman, but could not marry her because he was already married. This man met this woman in Paris, and they fell in love. She had eyes like stars, and hair like spun gold, and a heart that knew no bounds. But alas, when he told her of his undying love and devotion, and asked her to become his wife, she broke his heart into 1,000 pieces, and sent him away with nothing but a kiss on the cheek and a rose between his teeth. He wandered the streets of Paris for days without eating, sleeping, or drinking, until one day he came across a fortune-teller, who told him that the only way he could win back the woman's heart was to travel to a far-off land and bring her a magic ring. So he did. He traveled to far-off lands and fought fierce dragons and braved treacherous mountains and crossed raging rivers, all to find the magic ring. And when he finally returned to Paris with the ring in hand, the woman had forgotten him completely and refused to even look at him. So he threw the ring into the Seine River and ended his own life with a bullet from his gun. Now, some people might think this is just a sad tale of unrequited love, but I think there is more to it. I think this man was not just in love with this woman, but in love with the idea of her. He was in love with the fantasy he had created in his mind of who she was and what their life together would be like. In reality, she was just a cold, calculating, manipulative woman who used men for their money and status. But this man was too blinded by his own lust to see it. He never really loved her at all. It was until he tried to kill her that he realized the error of his ways and the danger she posed. Only then did he truly understand the depth of his love for her and the lengths he would go to protect her. The first time he saw her, she was standing in the middle of a crowded Parisian street, a vision of feminine beauty surrounded by admirers. The sight of her took his breath away, and he felt an overwhelming urge to possess her, to make her his, and keep her all to himself. But when he approached her, trying to strike up a conversation, he found that she was cold and distant, treating him like just another one of the many men who had fallen under her spell. Undeterred, he began stalking her, following her everywhere she went and watching her from afar. He learned that she lived in a small apartment above a noisy bistro, and that she spent her days shopping and socializing with her friends. All the while, he grew more and more obsessed with her, fantasizing about the two of them together and the life they would have if only she would love him. One night, he decided to break into her apartment and confront her. He let himself in while she was asleep and stood over her for a long time, watching her chest rise and fall with each breath. He wanted to wake her, to tell her how he felt, but something inside him, perhaps fear or respect for her, kept him silent. Instead, he slipped out of the apartment just as quietly as he had entered, leaving behind the rose he had brought with him as a token of his affection. She found the rose the next morning, and it immediately set her mind racing. Who had been in her apartment? Why had they left a rose, and why did she feel so unsettled? Convinced that she was in danger, she began taking precautions, locking her doors at night and avoiding the streets where she might run into her stalker. But he was always there watching, waiting for his chance to finally reveal himself. Then one rainy afternoon, he found her in a secluded part of the park, and finally worked up the courage to approach her. He introduced himself and told her how he felt about her, expecting her to run away or scream for help. But to his surprise, she didn't. She listened to him intently, her eyes never leaving his face. And when he finished, she simply nodded her head slowly. Then, much to his shock, she reached out and took his hand. They spent the entire afternoon talking, not about their feelings for each other, but about her life, her dreams, and her fears. And as he listened, he realized that he didn't really know her at all. She was not the mysterious, unattainable woman he had created in his mind. She was just a regular girl who needed someone to talk to. Still, he couldn't help but hope that she felt the same way about him. And when she invited him to dinner the next night, he took it as a sign that she was ready to take their relationship to the next level. They had dinner at a small restaurant near her apartment, and afterward, he walked her home. As they stood outside her door, he took her hand and asked her if she liked him, if she could see a future for them together. But instead of giving him the answer he wanted, she did something that shocked him. She leaned forward and kissed him, a long, deep kiss that left him breathless. Then she pulled away and said, "I'm sorry, but I can't do this. I can't lead you on." He was devastated, his hopes and dreams crumbling around him. But he understood. She was right. There was no future for them. With a heavy heart, he said goodbye and walked away, never to return. That was the end of their story, or so he thought. You see, she had never meant to hurt him. From the moment she laid eyes on him, she had known that he was different, that he saw something in her that she didn't even see in herself. But she was afraid, afraid of getting hurt, afraid of letting someone in, afraid of losing her independence. So she pushed him away, hoping that he would understand. But he didn't. He became obsessed with her, stalking her, invading her privacy, making her life a living hell. And in the end, she had no choice but to confess her feelings for him, knowing that it would only make things worse. Now, every time he thinks about her, he feels a twinge of pain in his heart. He knows that she loved him, that she was willing to sacrifice everything for him. And he can't help but wonder what could have been, if only he had realized it sooner. So here's a question for you. Do you think he should have killed her? After all, she was the one who hurt him, who caused him so much pain and suffering. Or do you think he was wrong to even consider such a thing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories just like this one. Thank you for watching.